All right. You are live on paraglidingtalk.com. So tonight we're supposed to have Paul Guschlbauer and Ryan Bloom join us. And however, I think because it is an epic flying day that they haven't landed yet. So I'm monitoring my phone. We're in contact. We're trying to find out where in the sky Paul Guschlbauer is. So in the meantime, we're going to talk about paragliding. I decided that we were going to hang out. We're going to talk about paragliding no matter what. And because we're paraglidingtalk.com, that's what we do. Okay. So you're joined with Neil. He is Para Perspective. If you get a chance to check out his channel, just go and subscribe. He doesn't have a whole plethora of videos yet, but he's a paramotor pilot. He's got some excellence in motoring and mechanics and stuff, and so you can learn some stuff from him and reach out to him, sub to his channel. Also Trey, you probably already know Trey. Trey is PPG
up,
Flyer. Yeah, you definitely need to sub to his channel. He was one of the very first guys that I saw paramotoring videos on the interweb, and just a really good stuff. So anyways, want to give you a heads up. Go to paraglidingtalk.com. You can find out what's happening very soon. The next episode is going to be with an acro pilot named Giuseppe from Torrey Pines. I'll put some pictures up. I've been real busy, so I haven't been able to keep up with all the pictures and all that stuff, but he's coming on next week. And then the following week, we've got Nick Hawks, who is a former Navy SEAL and a pilot. He's one of my favorite flying partners in the air, and we're going to talk about safety on that episode. He's no stranger to the show. He's been a huge inspiration to even get the show off the ground. He has a podcast as well as, and he owns a company called paleotreats.com. And so you can go check Nick Hawks out. And so that's what's going on. So I'm so glad that you're here. Right on. If you're logging in right now, you're probably just as obsessed with flying as we are. And so tonight we're going to, before we dive in, I do apologize. I'm not sure what's going on with Paul Guschlbauer. Again, I think he's flying. So we'll keep, I've got the phone and we're going to keep him close by. One of the things that I was considering, just in case this happened, was I wanted to talk about some safety aspects about flying. I saw a video, kind of spooked me, and I also saw, or I actually flew in some conditions that kind of spooked me, and I haven't put out the video yet. It's still in the editing part. But we flew in some winds that were rather strong. Took a couple little collapses for the guys that fly a lot. It would have probably been nothing to them, but to me, I was kind of wigged out. And so I want to talk about getting through some of the fear aspects of the sport. And you guys are welcome to chime in. And if you are normally a part of the show, if I sent you an invite and you're just now logging in and you're seeing that we're just hanging out and Paul's not here, feel free to log in and join us. And we're going to have paragliding talk tonight. And so, yeah. So anyways, the video that I was talking about, this guy launches and it's way strong. And it's not that he doesn't know what he's doing. It's obvious that he does know, but you can tell that he's getting rocked, and it was a strong wind day. And so I'm gonna pull that up while we're talking. And so I want to get your ideas and talk a little bit about stronger winds, and especially from the paramotor guys. You launch, everything seems fine. You're on the ground, everything's good. You check the report, but once you're in the air and the dimensions change, and now you come into your LZ and the wind might be blowing way harder than it was when he launched. And how do you respond to that? And maybe Trey, if you can chime in right here, because I know you've got a couple of those videos.
Yeah, well, for sure. I personally like strong winds, not as strong as you guys free flies can handle, but I enjoy it because the reverses are really easy. So I've flown on days when I thought it was semi-smooth, not too choppy in the air, and ended up that I took like a partial, maybe 40% collapse, and my wing popped over to the right real quick. I was only about 200 feet off the ground, and I was actually testing the air for other pilots at the park. And clearly they were watching me and said, okay, no go. And of course I came right back down and landed and, waited another half hour. But there are days when I don't enjoy getting in the air. And, I've never had a bad situation happen from a collapse, but it can be scary.
I'm going to share this video. You guys we can keep talking while I let it rip here. I should be able to screen share, present to everyone. And you may have seen this video. If you have, we're going to just do a little analyzing of it. So he's on the side of the hill. You could tell this is not a rookie. He's in a pod harness. Looks like he was twisted up a little bit. So he did a couple spins. You guys able to see that?
Yeah. Okay,
so now he's just kind of working the A's a little bit. He's obviously got the C's stuffed and looks mainly like he's on his brakes. Now this wing is not a beginner wing. You could tell that it has a high aspect ratio. This is a wing that's going to have a really good glide. It looks like a Nova.
Oh yeah.
And so you're going to see. I mean, you can tell that he's deep in the brakes, holding it down, just trying to keep himself from getting pulled up the hill. He might be trying to just clean up the wall a little bit there. And in just a second, he is going to get plucked. So, and I don't know where this is. It does look like it's somewhere around here in Southern California, but I'm not positive. Wind looks like it's coming pretty much straight up the face, which is good. And some of you are watching, you're probably going, yeah, that's not even that windy. Looks like he got a lull. There's a couple guys in the air. Okay, so right here, you can see he kind of loses his footing, gets it back, but now he's not touching the ground, getting dragged a little bit. And this guy, I feel bad for this guy because if he's watching anyways, because I don't want to make it sound like I'm picking him apart.
No, I think he did a great job recovering.
He was able to recover. He was able to make it work, but just look at how strong. And right there, I thought he was going to frontal. And it's just obviously really strong. He's on a pretty spicy wing and he's parked, and it looks like he's even going backwards. So I think my glider, it's a high B, flies at 22 miles per hour. That's my average speed. And if he is flying a little bit, maybe we'll just say that it's equal to mine. That wind is blowing at 22. So, anyways, I just watched that and I was like, gosh, man, it looked like he was going to get blasted. This is the most critical part, in my opinion, when you're flying. It's launch and then obviously landing. For the most part, you're not dealing with, I shouldn't say you never, but you're still trying to get your bearing. You're trying to figure out what direction you're going. You're getting in your harness. You're fighting, your brakes, trying to get your brakes in the right, because I take like a half a wrap. That is the critical time of flying. And so, especially for the free flight guys, this is something that we talk about on the show often. I know it seems like we're beating a drum, but I say that fly the wing before you get into your harness. Fly the wing before you decide that you're going to start adjusting and getting everything, especially in those high winds. This guy probably could have used just a little bit more ground handling. And I'll say this, and I was considering all week what I was going to talk about in case something went wrong. You have to kite in the stronger wind conditions. You have to. And so nobody likes to do it. I personally, I did it a few times where I was out of control and I should not have been at the park, and there was people everywhere at the park. And there was a few times where I was getting dragged and like I would, stuff one break just to kill it. And, getting close to people's picnics and whatnot. Oh my gosh, we have 17 thumbs downs. No. Oh, that's not my video. Whew, scared me. That was the dude. That was the launch video.
Well, when
I'm going to give him a go ahead.
Talking about the ground handling, like this would be a good opportunity to, in case people haven't heard it, but Andre Bandera's ground handling challenge. Was it groundhandling.com? Is that what the name of it is?
Yes.
Yep. It makes a game out of ground handling. Like if some people don't necessarily like ground handling or whatever, well, it's a challenge, keep you interested in it, and you're going to gain so much skill from it, especially with motors. Like, like you said, launching and landing is one of the most, obviously you got to land, but it's, one of the more crucial parts. And especially if you got a motor on your back spinning at however many RPMs, you don't want to go full throttle and sling your leg back into that or something because you fell. So it's, you figure out a ratio of how much ground handling you do to actually flying. Like I'd do a couple hours of ground handling to maybe a half hour worth of flying.
Yeah.
Just to be sharp.
The guys were recommending before I even got off the ground that I get 20 to 30 hours ground handling. So I did that. I have a logbook and I'll just share this real quick.
Yeah.
I started just writing down whatever I was doing. And so it started off with just a lot of ground handling. You can see all the different days that I was just, fighting on the ground. Now, there was a lot of days where the winds were, 8 to 10, and I'm not really fighting and I was figuring it out. But on the strong days is where I feel like I learned the most. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you the difference. Launching in a park, which is typical for paramotoring, and in my opinion, it's a little bit easier. You're not going to get what I call the pluck factor. You're not going to get plucked off of the ground and sucked up into the air because the wind is coming up the face of the mountain where typically free flight is happening. On the ground, which is where most of my ground handling was, you're just kind of getting dragged back and you're dealing with that and you're fighting with the wind pulling you in one direction. Now, when you're on the mountain, like what we just watched, there's a venturi. You have the danger of going back into the lee side of the hill. You've got the mechanical rotor involved, and the higher the winds, the more demon possessed that rotor is. And so there's a lot of variables in that. Very critical knowing what's going to happen with your wing while you're on the ground, rather than when you're 15, 20 feet off the ground and out of control or flying backwards. A lot of times we'll launch, and I've played around at Blossom a few times where I got picked up and I was facing my wing. And then, I just kind of start going up and I'm facing the wrong direction and I spin around real fast and try to correct and make it happen. Ground handling, and we talk about this all the time, it is critical. One of the most critical aspects. High winds, and pardon pair perspective, he's still at work, and appreciate him coming on, even though he's hustling over there.
Which one are you? Yeah, that's right.
Your ground handling is going to tell you, basically, for example, you come in, and Trey, you'll know what I'm talking about. You come in to land, and the wind is strong enough that the wing just wants to stay up over your head, and it's kind of shooting forward and shooting back and shooting forward, and it wants to just stay there. And I don't know how you guys do it with 50 pounds on your back, but then you've got to spin around with the fan on and turn around and kill the wing using your center risers. That is an art. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. paramotoring, we definitely do not deal with the type of winds that you guys do. The most that I really will fly in is probably inland is probably about 10 miles an hour. That's probably max, right? Nice. And your comment 8 to 10, which isn't that much, right? And it's not a challenge to keep the wing over. But I'll tell you that every single time I go out to fly for the day, I will be ground handling for at least the first 10 minutes because I have to get an understanding of what the winds are doing in my area, right? You guys know the winds are coming straight up the mountain. So I ground handle every single time I go out, and you are exactly on point, man. It's key for everybody.
I've got a handful of videos from the beginning days, and Jim commented. He said you need a permit, and I think that's an inside joke. I had in the very beginning of one of my very first videos of ground handling, there's this kid at the skate park, and he's yelling, "You got to get a permit." And I'm like, I'm all freaked out because I don't know nothing about the sport. You don't need a permit to kite in the park. I'm sure that and if anywhere you would need a permit, it'd be in Southern California, because they're so liberal here and just retarded. I don't know if I can be politically correct and say that, but I'm not politically correct. So, but I'm like, I'm trying to just practice. I'm trying to learn and get this thing going. And sure enough, kid kept coming by and yelling. And what's the permit for, to fly? I have no idea. I guess maybe he thought I was gonna bust out a paramotor and fly. I don't know. So Dangerous Dane in the chat, what's up, man? I watched some of his videos. He's deep in the ground handling stuff right now. He went live on a soccer field, and I think the soccer team kicked him off. And so it was pretty funny. I was watching that when he let that one rip.
Been there before, for sure.
Yeah, go watch Dangerous Dane. I figured out how you can check someone's profile and sub to their channel by right-clicking on clicking on the little 3 dots next to their name when you hover over their name. So go check out all these guys in the chat. These guys, almost all the guys in the chat are pilots, and so go check that out. Demetri, bro, Demetri's had some great videos lately. I'm gonna shoot him an invite. Can you come on right now, Demetri? Let's see if we can get him on. He's got some pretty cool videos just recently. So if you're just tuning in, gosh, we got 40 people watching right now. Paul Guschlbauer is loving Southern California air, and I think he's still flying right now. So he is still in the air currently. And yeah, let me see here, Demetri. So Demetri, you got the invite. You're good to go. So anyways.
All right, I'm back.
Nice.
Right on.
I had to mute you.
Oh, did you do that? Nice.
Dude, I couldn't figure out how to do it. I'm doing the video feed over my phone, so I had no idea I was going to mute it.
Yeah, I got it.
Hangouts on. Yeah, right on. Thank you.
That's good. I didn't know you could do that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that makes that a lot better.
So yeah, ground handling, most critical. And I'll say this, I love it. It's fun. I go to the park. It's right there by the water, so you get some pretty good laminar air coming in.
Yeah.
And you've got people walking their dogs, hanging out. They see the wing and they're like, wow, what is it? That is the coolest thing. If they've never seen it before, they're enthralled, and they'll want to take selfies with you and ask you a bunch of questions. And it's just, I don't know. I like that kind of stuff. It's kind of fun. I like sharing my passion with people, you know?
I was
the show.
I was flying at the beach. Go ahead, dude.
Oh, go ahead.
I was flying. I was flying in Avalon, New Jersey, a couple years ago, and I had my wing at the beach, and there was probably about 14 miles an hour all day, and I was really waiting to the very end of the day, and so I had my wing out from about, I'd say 4:30 or 5, and this kid came up. He's like, "Can I fly it? Can I?" I was like, "No, sorry, this isn't a kite."
That was probably my son.
I was
man.
gonna ask you guys if either of you ran into anybody that was not a fan of paragliding whatsoever.
Never.
Or is there never?
Never. Yeah, I don't think they exist. I think it's a fallacy. I've heard some people.
Yes, for sure. So there's a park that we fly at, and there happens to be a neighborhood nearby. And me and two other pilots were like flying low to the ground in this field, which happened to be right in this guy's backyard. And we were waving at him, and he was on his back porch looking at us. 10 minutes later, we go and land, and there were probably 7 or 8 guys out there practicing. Some of us flying, some of us practicing, and a policeman shows up. And turns out the guy called the cops because we were too close to his house. We weren't anywhere near too close to his house.
Get off my property, you butt fan people.
Yeah. So now there's a new rule: 150 feet from every house. So.
What? No. Who made that rule? You guys did?
Oh, we did, because
Like
I'm not trying to piss off the neighbors and ruin our launch site. Like, this is golden what we have. It's in the middle of an urban area. It's awesome.
Who was it? There was somebody who posted a video about losing the site. It was
I think it was Tony, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was Tony.
Yeah,
totally
that was
Tony.
sad, man.
Yeah,
I was bummed
RC
about
pilots
that.
Or something, right?
Yeah,
some RC pilots are complaining or whatever.
Jealous.
Yeah, the field that I fly at's a multiple. It's called a multiple use field, and RC guys are there all the time, and I make a point to make sure that they have their use of the space, and I can go anywhere I want. They can only go within eyesight and 400 feet, right? So I make sure that they have their time, and it's a shared thing, so that I don't run into problems like that.
Absolutely.
But the RC guys have been around a long time too, and a lot of them are old and grumpy.
Yeah, you got to have public relations like that. We got a couple of RC pilots that come around on out at the airport that I fly at, and I mean they're pretty accepting of me being around there and everything. But yeah, absolutely, you gotta keep good relationship with everybody that you encounter while you're flying.
Mark Honeycutt just chimed in and he said it's because all us crazies showed up to Tony's launch site. So you can blame Woody, Mark, Tony.
Those guys look like they have the best time, dude. All of them. My mom lives down in the Raleigh area, and when I go down to visit them, I'm definitely gonna be looking them up.
Yeah, they'd be fun to fly with for sure.
Totally.
Speaking of Tony, where is he tonight? I haven't seen him yet.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen him in the chat tonight.
I'm gonna send Mark.
Busy making pumpkins or something.
At Gmail. Sending Honeycutt an invite. I don't know if he can come on or not. Monkey on a Strings in the house.
Absolutely.
I love that name. That might be what I would change.
Yeah, that is a pretty sweet screen name.
I love it.
Change your screen. Monkey on a String 2.
Yeah. It's funny. My moniker on Steam is Captain Obvious.
Ain't that your son's name?
Yeah. So he stole that.
Is it?
I'm the original.
Oh,
Captain
okay.
Obvious. Yeah.
You're the original Captain Obvious. I got you.
Yeah.
Mark Honeycutt's laying on a good old army cot.
At least he's got Wi-Fi. That's good.
Yeah, man, they always make sure you got internet.
He's sitting in the tent right now, paying his dues. We appreciate your service, Mark. I know I say it every time I say it. It's like, man.
There's Demetri.
Demetri in the house.
What up, guys?
What's up, brother?
You guys caught me off guard. I was upstairs working on stuff.
Yeah.
Working on stuff? No, come on. You lied.
We're like a vacuum. We just sucked you in.
Hey, can you guys hear me all right? I have my phone in my hand right now, which is kind of annoying.
No, you're good, man.
Awesome.
Were you working on EFI tonight? We'll get it situated eventually. You working on a EFI controller tonight, Demetri?
I am indeed.
Sweet.
I just
you
spent
didn't
like
just buy one.
I could. I spent like 3 hours soldering a circuit, and I plugged it in, and it popped in my face. So I'm gonna have to redo a little part of it, but it's coming together.
Cool.
I was digging your video that you put up the other day, flying around the paramotor.
Oh, the one with the chase cam?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah, that was exciting, man. That place was. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it looked like when you came back to land, we were just talking about it, like it was sketchy.
It was hella sketchy, man.
I was like, uh-oh.
So it's in this huge valley where a river goes through. And the thing is, I assumed the wind would take the path of the river, but it goes right over the whole valley. So as soon as you get some altitude, it starts like doing all sorts of rotor and all sorts of crazy stuff. I was just like swinging around all over the place. It's good stuff, man.
You were going to be the next topic.
Yep, speak of the devil, right?
So he has, what were you were working on something too in that video. Oh yeah, it was the chase cam. You built the whole chase cam. I'll try to pull that up. That was pretty cool. So what do you think about it? It seemed like it was just a little bit shakier, like it was going back and forth, but it might be because of how windy it was.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, that was all a good indicator of what the wind was doing. I was gonna fly with it the other day, but it was not really favorable, so I didn't record another one. But I think it's gonna be a lot more stable than in that video.
I have some plans. Oh, by the way, check this out. I don't know if I'm going to put this on the show or I'm on the website, but check out this shirt. Clark Kent, if you've seen Clark Kent, he's a moderator for the show, but we went flying. He's probably flying right now with Paul Guschlbauer and those guys right now. But he made these Blossom San Diego shirts. So Blossom is our favorite site. The reason why this is cool is because Blossom's just a mountain, and it's not really it's not managed by anyone. It's not like it's just it's a spot that we go fly. And so if you know about Blossom, it's kind of like some people say it's the coolest spot to fly in the world because you can pretty much fly year round. And anyways, he hooked me up with that shirt and he's like, yeah, here, man, free. So he gave it to me. And so he's making them. He hasn't told me how much they are yet, but he was like, hey, maybe we can slang them on your show. And I was thinking, yeah, we'll make some shirts. And so I also have Carl. I don't know if he's on yet. Carl usually joins us in the chat. He's at work. But Carl from Carl, Colorado, he designed a logo for the here. I'll just pull it up on my phone for the paragliding talk. So I was thinking about maybe making some paragliding talk shirts.
You should.
I don't know what you guys think about that.
That's awesome.
Maybe get that on the Patreon.
Right? Yeah. Can you see that? So I was thinking just
for members on Patreon.
Yeah, just a plain shirt.
I want one.
Yeah, all right. I got my first shirt.
Sold.
Yeah.
Sold.
And you're a Patreon, so you get it free.
Right on.
Yeah, free man. Shirt. I should actually be paying you to because you helped me so much on the show. In the background, you guys don't know, Neil is he'll send me text messages. He'll be like, hey, I think we should do this. Hey, check this idea out. We should have this person on the show. Let's reach out to them. And he's networking, man. I think a big reason why we even had Woody Gamertag on the show was because Neil was talking to him on Facebook.
Yeah, that was
yeah.
Well, he had some good feedback for the show. That really, like the microphones, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Man, it definitely, when you're listening back to the episodes and the audio quality really does make a difference.
Yeah. My good old headphones. I miss them. My gamer headphones. I found these in the trash at work.
Oh, nice. Got a mic and everything.
These are the ones I was using in the beginning.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Now you got
found them in the recycle.
GiantPaleoTreats.com.
Yeah.
I got to start this show. Let me go look in the recycle bin.
Yeah. It's funny because my kids are wanting to steal it for their gaming stuff. And I'm like, no, you're not taking those.
Oh, totally, dude.
I tell the kids.
Play Fortnite with these right here.
Fortnite, yeah. See, the kids are trying to get me to download Fortnite. I'm like, no, already got too much stuff going on already.
Yeah.
Good goodness. Demetri, he doesn't have time for Fortnite. He's trying to conquer the world.
Actually, the last video game I played was a couple of years ago. I played, what was it? Warframe. Warframe was pretty cool.
Warframe. I never heard of that one. Is that on a computer PC game?
Yeah, dude, it's pretty interesting. It's like kind of like Ninja, what would it be, second or third person kind of game. But you can do all these combos to do all these crazy trick shots and stuff, dude. It's amazing. It was a lot of fun. But I'm not into games anymore, man. I used to get like hooked for months, and now I just do, a few days, and I'm bored of it.
You got a different game. It's called Human Flight.
For sure. I play it every chance I get.
That's right. So for these guys, I feel really bad for all three of you. Well, not so much Demetri. He's got some decent weather right now, but is it bad?
It's bad, man. It started getting windy and raining again, so I'm
no flying.
I think everybody's in the same boat right now. Our weather in New York's been garbage for the last 6 months. It's been cold.
You got snow, right? I think it's snowing there right now.
It's snowing right now. Yeah, it's snowing right now. It's
April.
Yeah, that's what I told them, but they wouldn't listen, apparently.
Yeah, it's bad, dude. It's real bad. It's been windy. It's been really windy, or it's been raining. I haven't flown in like at least a week, but it's my forecast for the next 8 days is not under 10 miles an hour. So I got nothing for a while.
Trey, did you get crazy wind yesterday?
Totally, yeah. I spent 3 hours at a track meet in that wind. It was nuts. I love my kids.
Trying to run the hurdles.
3 hours?
Totally. Hurdles, totally, yeah.
Who's running for 3 hours?
The whole meet was 3 hours.
Okay.
I got 2 kids, both running track, so it was different events all day long.
It's funny. I'm still trying to figure out how it is that I can go flying. I only get 1 hour of flying, but the whole episode takes 6 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's because of the driving and then the talking before and the analyzing the air and then the after. I land and if the sun didn't go down, I would still be out there right now.
I love that you take your boys out with you. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, they're great to have. They have well, you saw the episode where they were throwing rocks at me.
Yeah.
And then the following episode, I got back by flying over them and spitting on them.
Spitting on them.
Yeah. For the record, I didn't really spit because I thought about that afterwards. I was like, I might get in trouble for that. Torrey Pines.
I don't know. Your son said it almost landed on him. I'm not sure about that.
I swear it was bird poop. It was. Yeah, so kiting in high winds, that's the topic tonight.
Perfect.
We've had some flying recently where it was sketchy. So I've got a video and I shared with everybody at the beginning of the show that I'm editing that flight. Now it's probably not going to look like anything in the video, but there's certain times and certain parts where I'm parked and I'm just over launch and not penetrating, have to get a little bit on the speed bar, and there's these gusts coming through. Part of it is thermals. So there's an aspect, and I want to talk about this because I don't really understand it that much, and I hope that at least one of us understands it better than I do. But there is this gradient. I don't know if that's the right term, but when you've got wind that's coming up the mountain. Let's say that my hand is the face of the mountain and the wind is coming up, but you've also got the dynamic of thermals involved. And so between the thermals and the wind, you have, it's almost like it adds extra energy to the wind. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So if you're flying and it's 10-mile-an-hour winds, I want to say that it's almost like it adds an extra 5 to something mile per hour to that lift and to the wind strength. And I can't remember what that is called. I call
it thermals. I call it thermals passing through.
Right.
But yours is different, right? Coming up the mountain like that. I don't know what that's called.
Yeah. So, okay. Now a thermal, picture a fire hydrant popping in the street. If there's no wind to blow the water any direction, it's going to go straight up.
Right.
Right. And so the idea in a paraglider is to go fly in the outskirts of it, still inside the thermal, inside the lift. You'll fly through the core sometimes and you'll really feel the strength there. But when the wind is blowing, it kind of turns the thermal and bends it, if you will. And if the wind is too strong, then those thermals are like bubbles instead of like a solid thing of lift. So anyways, I've got some books that I want to recommend. I wrote this down in my logbook. I recommend doing this. Whatever books you read, put those in so you can help somebody else down the road. Books to read: Thermal Flying by Burkhart Martins. Understanding the Sky. Dennis Pagan wrote that. Mastering Paragliding. I want to read that one. Nick has that one. I haven't read it yet. That's by Kelly Farina. 500 Miles to Nowhere by Matt Beschner. And if you have any books that you recommend, Paragliding, Pilot's Training Manual, a Pilot's Training Manual. That's another one. I don't know who wrote that. And then Understanding the Sky. Oh, I already wrote that. That was the last one I read. Understanding the Sky by Dennis Pagan is an incredible book. If you haven't read that one, I encourage you to get that one. Check that one out. You
should put those in the description.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, well, it's so easy. Just it's just type it. Come on.
Dang it! I have to do something.
You don't have to do it now. Do it after you're done.
So lazy. It's hard to be lazy.
Well, people are lazy. That's why they just want to scroll and click.
Yeah. It's so true.
Google's too much.
What's that, Demetri?
I said you guys are going to judge me for this. Any of you guys got any videos you would recommend on the topic?
Oh, yes.
Totally. Channels, YouTube channels.
Dude, it just got hot in here. What do you want?
Groundhandlingchallenge.com, right? So that website's awesome.
Yeah. I just looked at that the other day, man.
Yeah. There's an incredible amount of videos on there. You'll never even watch them all. There's a bunch of them. Yeah. And Andre is still he's adding to that. I watched him load up a couple videos. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
He put a couple more fresh ones in there with him ground handling. So
yeah, some of those challenges, if you will, especially when you get up in the numbers, are quite challenging, right? So
yeah,
some of the stuff I can't do at my site, for instance, because I don't handle wings in that kind of wind.
Rally's kind of flat too. I was there not too long ago. There's not many hills around there.
Yeah,
he's working on an app for that, isn't he?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Or is there an app? I thought I heard something about that. I could be wrong, but that would be freaking sweet.
I think he did say he was working on something, but he's got a lot of projects, man. He's he's building this video game, like this paragliding video game that looks really cool. I mean, for a paraglider.
Who all here is aviator alum? John Elsie. So Robert Durbin's recommending John Elsie. I'm going to write that down. If you have a way to get a hold of him, Robert Durbin, have him message me, or maybe you can just have him reach out to me through the website, paraglidingtalk.com.
Yeah, if anybody has any suggestions or thinks a pilot's good for the show, definitely look your website up and contact you.
That's perfect.
Brent Baumgartner said there is an app for ground handling challenge.
Brett Bumgardner, bro, that's a champ. He's
man.
a Patreon.
Is there Brent? Is it on Google Play? Or it might be on the website. The app is called Ground.
I was using my favorite flying app. If you guys don't know about it, it's called Fly Sky High. You guys know about that one?
Yep.
If you don't know, now you know. Here, I'll show you just a little bit. It's actually pretty incredible.
That's for iPhone, isn't it?
It's only iPhone. Yeah.
Is it only iPhone?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Which is a shame because there are certain ones for Android that I would love to have.
So this one gives me what I want, and you can customize it. I know that they were talking about coming out with another one. Yeah, they haven't come out with it, obviously.
The large scale digits on it, that's pretty sweet. I don't think I think
it's $15.
I use PPGPS, and I don't know if I'm just missing something, but like your altitude and all that stuff is pretty tiny, which is kind of a little bit of a downfall on it. But
I have the iPhone 6S, and I guess the iPhone has a built-in barometer. So the phone syncs with that right away. And then the app will actually sync with your phone can Bluetooth sync with whatever variometer. Yeah. Thank you. Your variometer and some certain apps. I want to say that it will connect with your GPS device too, but don't hold me that. Just go to Fly Sky High, and they have a bunch of details on what that app does. I think it's $14.99, but it's really incredible. It actually will record your flight, altitude and everything, and then you can go back and watch it in 3D. I don't know if you guys caught that in the last video at the very end. Here, I'll bring it up right now. It's pretty slick. So you can go into the 3D model.
Every single flight.
Okay, nice.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so I've been going back. I don't do it every time because it is time consuming, but I'll go back and video the flight. So I did a big triangle where I launched from Blossom. Then it's like I think it was like a 6 mile or 6 kilometer triangle cross country flight, just, flying around.
And you watch it in what? Google Maps?
I think it has its own map thing that it uses. What is that called? But it gives you the options to use all different types.
I don't have my phone down here with me, but
let me just see.
I've never done that feature, watching it back in 3D. I mean, I've obviously gone back, looked at my flights, looked at the graph, all that.
It also logs all your flights. So just before you launch, it'll tell you how long you were in the air. You can set it up to auto so that as soon as you gain a little altitude, it'll trigger and it'll start recording. And then it's pretty slick, man. I mean, I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but I really like this. And
I'm surprised it's 15. I think when I got it 4 years ago, it was $8.99. So
it could be. I could be wrong. Maybe confirm that. Fact check me. Someone needs to fact check.
Get on Snopes.
But it's a lot cheaper than a Vario, right? My Vario was $300.
Yes.
So it does all the same stuff.
Yeah.
I think I might get a sweet altimeter watch. Maybe like a Rolex or something. Yeah, that'd be rad.
So fun story. You guys are talking about the iPhones. On Android, first of all, some Android phones do have a built-in barometer too. Mine does. I have an LG G4. There's an app that does the same thing. It's called Vario. Free.
Nice.
But it does similar stuff, and you can actually go and import your track into Google Earth, and Google Earth has a flight simulator feature. So I'm pretty sure you could use that to actually play back the same way.
Nice.
So Android guys aren't out of question either, and I used that Vario app when I first started paragliding. as my vario, and it actually works really well because it does use the built-in barometer, so it's pretty accurate.
Yep.
I'm going to pull up that flight. I got to fly with Paul Guschlbauer. He's here in town. By the way, if you're just logging in, you're looking for Paul Guschlbauer. He's still in the air. So they're flying right now. Him and Ryan Bloom are probably flying across Southern California right now. Here, I'm going to pull up that. Here we go. Let me see here. It's so funny. When Paul got here, he had just got, or when I got to launch, I had just got off of work. And so Paul was on the launch, but he had just got done landing at the bottom. And okay, so here's the simulator. This was my flight. And it's kind of choppy right now. My computer probably can't handle this. But
oh, cool.
It follows you around.
Sweet.
Gives you I'm controlling this, so I'm looking at whatever angle I want to look at. And if you go slow, like I had this at like 10 times the speed or 20 times the speed, so I could just kind of show everybody what that flight looked like. But you can see where I took off from, and then you see where I'm coming back to where I launched in the beginning, and the whole track. Let me stop that. Yeah,
That's
but anyways,
awesome.
That's cool.
It was super
really
fun,
is.
man. That flight was amazing. And Paul got to do his first cross country here in SoCal. He was pretty fired up. So that's when I got to talk to him, and he's staying with Ryan Bloom. Basically, we were like, hey, Thursday night we're gonna have a show, and he knew about the show. I found out also that because of Paragliding Talk, I guess this has kind of like pumped San Diego in a way, because when he looked for paragliding in Southern California to reach out to somebody to say, hey, I want to fly. Can somebody give me some ideas of where I can fly in Southern California? I was the first guy that showed up, I guess, when he did the search. So Europeans coming to San Diego to fly. I guess they're going to be reaching out to us.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool. So what do you think about toes? What do you guys think about that? You guys have any toe experience?
As long as you clip your nails, I mean, they're. I think you're the only one that got it.
I need to clip I call them Clam Diggers. Nasty toenails. I was considering, if like Trey, you're over there in the middle of no man's land. The only way that you're going to be able to do free flight is to get towed and pulled up somewhere.
No, that's not true. So there's some mountains here in Pennsylvania that have some elevation to them. There's a mountain called Blue Mountain that actually is very favorable towards paragliders and will actually allow you to fly from the mountain, and you get down to the lift. There's no lift charge at all. You just get right in line, and they'll take you back up for free.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
This is so sad. Yankee and SC1 thinks that Paul is on the show. Paul's not with us tonight. Yankee, I'm sorry, man. We're gonna try to get him on. He's such a cool guy. And if you haven't checked out his channel, he was sharing with me that he has this huge plan. Right now, as we speak, he's getting his commercial pilot's license. So he's flying lightweight commercial airplanes. And he's already been flying bush plane in Alaska. Has anybody seen those videos yet?
Oh, yeah.
They're incredible.
Those guys are crazy.
Yeah, well, Paul Guschlbauer in general, his videos are incredible. I don't know who he's got filming for him or with him. They're amazing. So he's getting ready to kick off this whole video thing. And, he already has like 4,000 subscribers from the X Alps, but he's going to be doing something really epic he shared with me. I'm not going to step on it too much, but I'm like, man. So if you subscribe now, you'll be a part of the cool crew of his before he launches his big video campaign. So I'm just giving you that heads up. Yeah, go to Paul Guschlbauer's channel and check that out. Yeah. Also, while I'm putting the plug in, go make sure you like this video and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We come here every Thursday night at 6 p.m. and do this show. And support the show on Patreon, and you can also support the show on PayPal now, and those links are in the description. If you have questions for any of us, Demetri, if you don't know, designed and built his own paramotor. We're talking down to the last stitch. Everything in his paramotoring repertoire is original. He's obviously he reached out, I'm sure, to some designers, got some ideas, but he's made it all himself. Go check out his channel and subscribe to him. Neil also has his channel. You want to go and check out his stuff. And obviously PPG Flyer, you don't want to miss those. You can, I figured out that you can click on their name in the chat, and then you can go, it'll say something like, go to their channel. What does it say? Yeah, go to channel. And then subscribe to these guys, man. You'll really enjoy it. So Yankee SC1, I was watching your video the other day, enjoying your flying videos. PPG Flyer, I thought you were, for some reason, I thought you were in the South, man. You're
No, just Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
My mom lives down in the Raleigh area.
Ah, that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is nice over there. It just, you have to have a paramotor.
Well, I would rather have a paramotor myself. I like that I have the paramotor because I can fly many more areas and as much as I want.
Yeah.
I go low, I go back high.
What? So I've been trying to convert Trey to free flight since we had the beginning of the show.
I'm sold. I just got to get out there and do it.
Yeah. So Demetri has Demetri has the convenience of living on a flying site. He just walks outside and goes and flies.
If you want to call it that, definitely a flying site. Definitely not one most people would want to fly at, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I was super jealous when I saw the pines. I'm like, wow, he lives in paradise. I'm over here in Southern California. Everyone says it's paradise, but I really like the mountains. Beautiful. Yep.
Well, you got pretty good weather year round, though.
Yeah,
when
that's
do you
true.
ever get snow?
Yeah, I think you
What's
have
that?
reliable days, something like 285 days a year, right?
Oh,
like that's totally flyable. Torrey Pines, 285 days a year.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that is true. But we got to pay $6 a gallon for milk.
Ryan Moore wants to know, what's the learning curve for someone going from a paramotor to free flight? Probably Demetri. You'd be the one to give some insight on that question.
Me? You're asking a self-trained guy who crashes into trees?
Asking you.
I'd have to say the launch technique is quite different for the two of them. So on a paramotor, right before you get lifted off the ground, you got to lean back and let the motor start pushing you. And I do a little tap on the brakes to get the lift. So you got to really trust and lean back. Whereas a paraglider, you got to do like an exaggerated forward leap so you can swing over the side of the hill. So that's one thing that I got to be careful myself when I go back and forth between the two, which I do regularly, to keep that in mind.
Yeah, that was something that Stephen Nowak said, that the common thing is when a guy goes from free flight to paramotoring, like Jeremy Conrad. Jeremy had a learning curve because I guess in the beginning, I guess by nature, we're so used to running and sticking our head out in our chest and putting our hands way back like this. Paramotoring is kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to say it's tiptoeing through the tulips, but you're kind of like, for just a few seconds, you're kind of just tiptoeing. You got your hands right in front of you, and you just kind of
totally are. Totally are.
Yep.
Yeah.
That motor starts pushing you. You just lean back and get into it.
Especially on those paramotors that are designed to be like in a reclining position, like the Scout, where the fan is tilted up almost a little bit. You got to like really lean back.
And you said the word trust, because
Yeah,
you don't naturally want to lean back, especially with the idea that a new prop is going to be about $300. And you're just, I can just picture that thing spinning behind me and, you know, hitting something, a rock or something, and wasting oh, I can't imagine. That'd be horrible. I've seen a couple videos where they jack them up.
Seems to me that I would think the learning curve as far as going from paramotor to free flight that launch like you're talking about, Demetri, that transition seems to be easier going that route versus having the free flight habit of leaning forward and then trying to undo all that muscle memory to lean back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you kind of naturally would be leaning forward if you're trying to do free flight.
Yeah. I'm excited to eventually, my plan is to build one. I've always been that way. Like my last, I bought a motorcycle, and this is kind of off topic, but I bought the motorcycle and it was totally broke down. So I just got it running, got it back up to actually pretty quick, got it running, and I got it for really cheap. And so what I kind of want to do is just, I'll buy a brand new motor, obviously, but, you know, kind of get a frame, get the harness and all that stuff together, you know, piece at a time, and then just kind of build something. Cause I don't know, there's something about having I mean, Demetri probably agree, something about having it yours. Like my Jeep was almost completely dead when I bought it, and I put a lift kit on it, and I worked on it. So that's the route I'm going. Mm-hmm. And then talk to some of the paramotor guys to give me some training. You know, Russman, he's an excellent teacher. I don't know, where is he at? Hey, Max Martini's in the chat.
What? We were talking about you, Max.
Yeah, Max, bro. Why are you awake? It's got to be like 3 a.m. there.
Oh, easily.
Oh, dang. Gavin McClurg just texted me. Wow.
Make it on?
Dang it. He said he won't be home for 30 minutes.
Oh, we going to stretch it out until then?
Gosh.
Still got 43 people watching.
I know. So if Gavin McClurg just texted me right now back, because I told him, hey, Paul Guschlbauer is supposed to be on the show. We're going to interview him right now. But that was at, 6 o'clock, 5:30 is when I text him. He just now got back to me. He's like, what time? I'll be home in 30 minutes. Dang it. They're all flying. I'm not mad that he's not on. I'm mad because I didn't get to fly.
Yeah, you're here doing this darn podcast.
Oh, man.
Hey, Robert.
I almost had to add to my Patreon there.
What's that?
I was saying open invite for you. I don't know if you know about this group on Facebook. It's called Paramotor Homemade.
Paramotor Homemade?
I think Neil hangs out in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're going to build one, that's the place to go. Kyle's on there, and a bunch of other guys that are building their motors. Totally on there.
Yeah, there's a lot of really, really interesting projects going on there for sure. I like that. That's probably one of my favorite groups out of all of them.
Hey, good night, Max Martini, bro. God bless you too, brother.
Thanks for stopping by, bro.
It's 11 p.m. there? That's it. Oh, that's right. The time changed, huh? Bro, Max Martini, are you going to bed? He's going to bed.
He's saying bye-bye.
He knows. Yeah, he knows, because we'll suck him in. He'll be on here until 2 a.m.
That's a good dude, man. That was a good episode.
Yeah, that was number one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Max is a champ, man. His last couple of videos really good too. What am I gonna say to Gavin? Gosh, man.
I don't know, man.
I don't want to drag it out for another half an hour. We're just all here. I guess I'll tell him. Log in when you get home.
Yep. Yeah, see what happens. We can probably keep it going to then. I'm working till midnight, so.
What time is it over there?
10 o'clock.
Yeah,
10?
10. Yep.
Yeah, where's Max? That it's 11?
He's in Brazil.
Brazil. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And what a exotic place to live.
You know what's going to happen? Paul Guschlbauer is probably going to log in with Ryan as soon as they find Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that could be. Or like right when you're about to call it a night and shut it down, they come on.
Yeah, right. Right when I want to go to bed.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll be like, "Hey, we want to party."
We were counting on them coming on at 5:59, but that didn't work out, did it?
Nope. Let me see here. What do I tell him here? If you guys don't know Gavin McClurg, you guys need to watch his videos. He's on Red Bull TV. The best way to go see those videos is to go to paraglidingtalk.com, go to past episodes, and then just scroll down to episode 3, I think it is. And you'll see if you click on his name or any of the images of the videos, those are all links to his videos. Incredible. He flew across the Rockies, camp flying, and documented with that $1 million Red Bull camera. And if you're a pilot especially, you'll be on the edge of your seat the whole time. It's crazy. Dangerous Dane, if you're still there, is he still on? Oh, he's got a bounce.
I think he just left.
Dang it. I want to try to get him to try to come on with us. Let me see here. What time? Be home 30 minutes. Okay. We are live now.
We are live now.
But
Dane says he's here.
Paul is still flying.
So I think you wanted to say something to Dangerous Dane, right? You want to just have him hook you up,
I was going to say, shoot me your email so that I can, so we can connect. I don't know if you're willing. I saw that you're camera savvy, and I figured you would be able to come on the show with us and hang out. I watched a couple of your videos and I was entertained, and you're animated, so I think you'd be good. So, anyways, we were saying that in the beginning of the show. You don't have to answer now, but yeah, hit me up on the go to paraglidingtalk.com and then just put your email in there. You can shoot it over to me. Yeah. It's so crazy to think that I'm texting Gavin McClurg. That kind of trips me out. Here.
You a little fanboy?
Yeah, I'm definitely a fanboy. Check this out.
Believe that dude's cool. The Cloud-Based Mayhem podcast too. If people haven't heard about that, that's really good stuff.
Here we go. I'm going to share the screen here. Boom. Really appreciate you guys coming on, by the way, and everybody who's watching. Really appreciate you guys coming on and supporting the show. Everybody that I've talked to has just been so cool about, just the stoke factors, and it's critical when it comes to what we're doing. So here we go. Episode 3 was Gavin McClurg. If you click literally on the Rocky Mountain Traverse or North of Known, if you click on either of those, those are actually links to the video or the name. So go there, and after the show, or even right now if you want, if you're bored with us, go watch that. It is incredible. Yeah. I'm talking like I was stuck. Good content,
for sure.
Yeah, and Red Bull filmed it, so the footage is incredible. Just, so crisp, and the sound is good, and it's nothing like my videos. I'm still fighting the wind noise and all but incredible. And if you're a pilot, you'll be trapped watching every second of it, because they're like fighting to get to the next mountain range, and like, I don't know if we're gonna make it, and that's where the food cache is, and they set up food caches along the way. I don't know if I'm saying that right. these little boxes that have to be bear proof. That was for north of known. And they'll go into a place and they'll land, and then they have to hike a few miles to get to the food, and they're like starving. And they could potentially reach out to I was thinking, the Red Bull guys are in a helicopter or something, and they could probably reach out to them for food, I guess, if there was an emergency situation, but they don't. And you can tell, like, it's legit. Like they're like, oh, we're just super hungry. And, they get stuck because of snow and weather conditions change, and you will love it. North of known, Rocky Mountain Traverse. And then there's a bunch of links to all the other videos. Incredible. What's your next step with video stuff? Either one of you guys. I'm trying to get some ideas of what I'm going to do next, as far as video quality and like Demetri made himself a chase cam. Try to dig out.
I was gonna go look into getting some kind of a drone and doing some footage that way, but they're really expensive. I could think of a lot of things I could do with that kind of money. So I don't know what's next. Just different ideas with my existing GoPros.
I saw Mark Honeycutt flying around with his drone. Did you see that video? You guys?
I didn't yet. No,
you haven't seen it? Oh gosh, he flies his paramotor. And then he flies while he's flying his paramotor, he's flying his drone.
I think I saw that.
It's crazy.
Totally, yeah.
I'm like, no, dude, don't do that. I'm trying to dig out my
totally say
it. Don't try this at home, kids. Here we go.
I'm still afraid to take my hands off the toggles on the throttle so I can put gloves on while I'm flying.
I'm the same way. And it's funny because I think about that when I'm flying. I'm like, how do those guys do this? Okay, so here's my.
Just popped in the chat.
Who is it?
Mark Amundsen just popped in the chat.
Nice. What's up, amen, son? I sent you a link if you want to join us, Mark. We're not planning on staying up all night, but we're just hanging out, waiting to see if maybe Paul will log in. Paul is still in the air. You see the gimbal?
Yeah.
You guys know about that?
Sweet.
So I got this from somebody on OfferUp, and it's got a little toggle. And basically, if you haven't seen these before, it's really nice. It'll toggle up and down, left to right, kind of, but it's a stabilizer. So the footage is incredible. This thing wants to do whatever it wants. But what I'm thinking about doing, I saw a video where the guys mount this. They have a string coming out of the back. Maybe I should just pull up the video. But this becomes the chase cam. And the footage with this on the chase cam is incredible. I mean, once I saw it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to do that at some point. But you risk, especially you motor guys, you risk this bad boy going into the prop. And this is pretty heavy. It's like a flashlight almost, the weight of it and the durability of it or whatever. So that's what I'm up to next.
Yeah, I've never flown. I built my own chase cam out of a 2-liter bottle of soda. But I fly mine out to my side and angle my camera in towards me from the side, so mine will not hit the prop. I do see guys, and I like the perspective from right behind you, but there is that danger of hitting the prop, and I just have never taken that chance.
You see Tucker's last video? His flew right into the prop, but his motor was off, obviously, when he was coming in for a landing. But you could still see the prop did one of these right when the camera came in at the very end of the landing or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Not only taking out a $300 prop, but a $300 GoPro, too.
Yeah.
A little pricey.
And that little deal is $200 used.
Oh.
The gimbal, yeah.
The gimbal, yeah. You can get good gimbals, though. That one is kind of cheesy, I think. Actually, here, this is what it is. It does the job. I'm not hating, but I think there's better ones. Yeah, see
what I
that?
always thought was
From eBay. I saw them on eBay for like $90 or something, just to throw it away, if it doesn't work. But I think it might actually work. It's not that complicated of a device.
Yeah, and the footage is incredible.
You know what's an angle that I liked from Max Para? He puts his up in the wing sometimes. I always thought that was pretty cool. I always thought that was really neat.
Have you guys done that?
See all the lines coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's pretty sweet.
do like that. Yeah, Ripman riding. There's Clark Kent. So if you guys go check out Clark Kent, he's actually a hang glider pilot and paraglider pilot. We got to fly together, but he's the one that's making the shirts. So soon, I'll let you know when these will be available, the Blossom shirts. And then I was talking to him about he's going to make some more of these. And then I want to get some paragliding talk shirts. Yeah. So I'm going to make the paragliding talk. Oh, I had a great idea today. I'm so glad I remember this right now. You know those things? It's like if you just cut a leg off of a pair of pants and you just slip it over your head. Have you seen those? And then it'd be kind of like I don't want to be politically incorrect, but it's like kind of like the Haji like dune.
The
is that what it is?
Yeah.
You just kind of pull it up over your face. I guess you could use it for dirt bikes and stuff like that. Protect your neck from getting sunburned. I was thinking about getting those paragliding talk, or I don't know, something like that.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I totally fly with those. There's a fishing company called something SA, and they have all kinds of designs, like a skull.
Yes.
Yeah, and you wear it to right here. I actually have 6 of them upstairs that I fly with them, just because my voice comes out clear to speak into my mic.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
What do they call them? I have a black one, but it's balaclava. I have that, and that's all you see, and everything else is covered up. But I want to run out to the Jeep and grab it, but I'm not going to do it. But anyways, I found them today. And I was thinking, oh, that'd be awesome. Hoagie, is that what they're called? Clark Kent said Hoagie? Yeah. So that's what I was thinking. That's next. That was another thought that I had. And
that'd be pretty sweet. It'd be something different other than a t-shirt.
Yeah, something you can use every time you go flying.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes I'm a facility engineer, and sometimes we go to these meetings and they give away the swag. They'll have all the little pens, and most of it's just a bunch of useless nonsense with the people's name on it, So when you pick up a pen, you're like, oh, it's just a pen. Oh, that's one of the vendors, Siemens. Oh, okay. Got it. But be kind of cool to have that paragliding talk stuff.
Have something useful, advertise the show.
Yeah.
It's just sweet.
Just fun. I'm just trying to be creative.
Absolutely.
I'm not a real entrepreneur. I just pretend like I'm one. Yeah, just play one on YouTube.
You can send them to us to redistribute at fly-ins.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Like that.
Send packages of them. Paraglidingtalk.com. So that's a
ambassadors.
Yeah. You guys actually really are.
Something like that, anyway.
Okay, man. Mark A. Minson, are you going to log in? So here's what's going on. Just to give you a heads up, Paul Guschlbauer and Ryan, I think, are still flying. It's almost dark, so they got to be coming in for a landing. But the problem is they're probably in the middle of nowhere and no Wi-Fi. So they're probably scrambling to get to Wi-Fi. I haven't even got a text message from them, so they're probably deep in the mountains. And I know I just said probably about 20 times. I don't care. Probably.
Mm-hmm.
And so I texted Gavin McClurg because Gavin is a friend of Paul Guschlbauer's. They flew together in the X-Alps. Paul last year got 3rd place. I think Gavin was in 10th place. I could be wrong, but we'll just go with that for now. And so I text Gavin and said, hey, Gavin, we're going to be having Paul Guschlbauer. It'd be fun if you came on the show. And so Gavin texted me back what time he's going to be home in 30 minutes. That was 15. That's in 15 minutes. He should be home. So I already sent him an invite to come on. So Gavin may pop in here any second. And Ryan and Paul may also. So we're just kind of hanging out, talking about paragliding and see if they show up. And I apologize if you came here wanting to talk to him or had questions for him. We'll get him on. He's going to be here for a couple more weeks, and we'll shift things around if we have to. Everybody else has been pretty cool about that. This show was actually supposed to be Tucker Gott with Aviator PPG in the gang. And so we're going to push that show out. We're going to find out. I just need to coordinate with Eric to find out when that's going to work. Aviator PPG they're working together. They're wanting to do their own podcast type live stream thing. I think he mentioned something like that, but until they do, I was like, hey, just come join us, man. And so that's where we're at, folks. Look at this flying goat. I love it. What's a good reserve for paramotors? Good question. I like the Beamer. I was thinking about buying one. What do you guys think?
Beamer, yeah.
The Beamer's the one that you can control.
Yeah, so I think I'd want something you can control at least.
Yeah.
I'm not invested in a reserve yet, but it's got to happen soon.
Who needs a reserve, right?
Not me.
I've never flown with a reserve.
Are you serious?
No.
You guys don't have a reserve?
No.
Yeah,
I don't fly in situations that call for it.
I was just
That's
joking.
pretty common with paramotors.
Is it? I guess you'd have to have it on your lap.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's a bad idea to have one. I just haven't. I don't typically fly in situations that call for it. So
yeah, that makes sense.
If I do, I will definitely get one because I think it's a good safety measure if that's what you're going to be flying in.
Some guys fly with two.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
It's one of them things where it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Ooh, yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
I've seen some videos where I'm like, oh gosh, that is not coming out, and you have to throw a reserve. Mm-hmm. I cannot imagine not having that. That's like my little lifeline. When it was bumpy on, what was it, 3 days ago, I kept like looking down at my reserve like, okay, buddy, I might need you. I kept looking at the handle, checking just to make sure it's still there. I'm legit, man. I should not. When I launched, I got plucked and I'm like, oh, and pulling on strings and straightening out. And of course, it was one of those things where I had people that were there. It wasn't with Paul and them, but it was with a few people that I really respect and I don't want to look stupid in front of. And I was all over the place looking stupid. Like, dang it. Actually, if it's Mike, if Mike is watching, he's been gone in Mexico, and he was somebody I was flying with all the time, even when the conditions sucked. And he's kind of teaching me along and just kind of throwing me a bone here and there. Hey, try this. And he's super patient, super cool. I love that guy. He's like my paramotor dad or paragliding dad. And so I'm like, he comes back from Mexico and I had been doing all this kiting and strong winds. So I'm feeling like, oh yeah, man, I'm doing good. Yeah. And so Mike's there and I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'll launch. And so I go to wing it up like I had been doing 100 times since he's been gone. He's been gone for like 4 months. And I blew it and I got dragged and I went upside down and I was like dragged on my head. And then I fixed it and cleaned it up. And I'm like, oh, dang, I'm stupid again. and Mike was just patiently like, oh, here, I'll help you. And he's just all, anyways, shout out to Mike. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah. So what do you guys think about, flying with the over water gear? You guys ever do that stuff?
Oh, the flotation?
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose if you're in this, you know, obviously beach flying would probably be a good idea, or flying over lakes or whatever. I haven't got to the point where I really want to fly over a large body of water.
Yeah, that's kind of sketchy to me.
Me too.
What do you do if you're, like, for example, Gott was flying over, I don't know, whatever river it was.
Delaware River.
Delaware. I mean, he's flying underneath the bridge over the river. If something goes bad, you're in that water and you got 50 pounds strapped on your back or more. You're going to sink like a rock.
You got to get out of that harness as soon as you can.
So once you know you're
As
bad,
soon as it's feasible.
get your hands out of the brakes, reach down and start disconnecting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just don't see how you can have enough time to do it.
I think on the flight that you're talking about, he actually did have some kind of flotation device, a gamma or something.
Yeah, he did.
And he mentioned it.
Yep.
So,
I'm just thinking, like, okay, here's another example. Mark Honeycutt, Woody Gamertag, and Tony. I always mix up his name. But they were all out there. There's Mark. What's up, brother?
Hey, guys. How you doing tonight?
Fantastic. Living the dream.
Nice. We got we got about 11 inches of snow the other day, so it's back to winter.
Snow conditions again. Dang it.
Sucks.
Is the lake still frozen?
I was ice fishing on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah.
Can you still launch out there then?
No, there's so much snow. It's like you can't run through it. Yeah, it's only good when it's little tiny bit of snow or glare ice.
Mm-hmm.
What is that thing? What is that machine you use to pull yourself along? It's like a lawnmower, but it just pulls you.
Oh, the snow dog.
Yeah, it's like a tank, dude. That thing is awesome.
That thing is sweet.
Yeah, that thing is killer. I use that a bunch. My brother-in-law borrowed it to me for like 3 weeks this winter, and I had to give it back. But they're like $3,000, man. They're just like a little thing.
What?
Yeah, so I'll get one, but they're for that price. I don't know. You can use them in summer. You can haul deer out of the woods. You can haul firewood. You can, but winter they're made for. They're just called the snow dog.
That's pretty sweet.
Anybody else been flying lately?
Not in the Northeast.
Negative.
I've been flying. I should be flying right now.
I'm moving to California. That's it. I know.
Dude, I totally been thinking the same thing, man.
What about Redding? Is Redding, California pretty good?
Redding? Oh, I'm sure it's good.
Northern California?
Yeah, they
Did
fly
you guys
out there
feel
a
the
lot.
earthquake out there today?
I didn't feel it. A bunch of people were talking about it, but I didn't feel it.
It was like, that was up in LA.
I'm in a high rise, so you don't really feel the earthquakes unless they're bigger than 5.0 and close by.
Yeah. And this was way out, like 35 miles out in the ocean, right?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I didn't feel it though. Hey, check out the new shirts. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter, Mark, but Clark Kent, he made these Blossom t-shirts. You see that?
Sick.
Isn't that cool?
So Blossom is a launch site?
Yeah. It's kind of like a it's not managed by any group or anything. It's just it's basically run by pilots. I shouldn't say that. It's owned by someone, obviously. It's private property, but they haven't said that we can't fly there. And I guess they're just cool people. Well, so when if you know about Blossom, it's kind of like an insider thing, I guess. So if you come, you have to know somebody to fly there. And so I made it inside the Blossom group. You know what I'm saying?
You're in the inner circle.
I made it in, man.
You can't be making T-shirts. It's going to get everybody coming out there. You got to keep it low key.
Yeah. So, what I didn't finish what I was saying. I'm gonna get Paragliding Talk shirts, and Carl from Colorado designed this. Can you see that?
Sweet, dude.
So we're gonna put that on a t-shirt.
Awesome logo.
And it's just simple, bro. It's no complicated.
Love
it's just Yeah, simple. You could even put that on a hat.
I dig it.
Yeah, Carl. Shout out to Carl. He was on me in the beginning to get a logo. And then
Well, you got it now.
Got one.
I have a request for a T-shirt though.
Already?
I got a request for it. Personal request. I wanted to say I was on paragliding talk, and all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
Yeah.
So stereotypical.
Well played.
I'm skipping the T-shirt, going right to the tat.
Oh, right to the paragliding talk tattoo.
Yeah.
That'll be my thing in my videos. I'll just kiss it.
Sweet.
Oh man. Yeah, so that's stickers. Yep.
Robert, what would you do? What would you do if a fan like popped in here? Is like, hey man, I got a paragliding talk tattoo.
I'd be like, no, don't do that.
This has gone too far.
No.
No.
Yeah, it's funny because tattoos have taken a whole nother dimension. Like you got girls getting tattoos. I don't. In the beginning, I was like, I had my little stint in jail or whatever. Yeah, I see that. Did you? Is that a tattoo? Is that a fresh one?
No, it's a No, I've had this for a few years now.
Hold it up again. Hold it up again and talk.
I don't know if you guys see it. Yeah, it's a tic-tac-toe.
Tic-tac-toe.
I wanted a functional tattoo. I tell you what, though, it was a great icebreaker in a bar.
Yeah. So there was a guy.
Of the time, it works every time.
For the military guys, there's some kind of a measuring, a way of measuring something. I can't remember what it's talk. I think they call it like a tick, and it's it's like these tacks. And the dude did tacks all the way down the length of his body from his from the inside of his hand all the way down his arm, all the way down the side of his leg, all the way down to his foot. And when he turns sideways, it's like a measuring device that the Navy SEALs use. And he's obviously a Navy SEAL, but he has that tattooed on his body. He's like, I wanted to be a human tool for the operation.
Wow. Dedication
that's
right
unique.
there.
There's nobody else that has that. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I feel so useless.
I think about getting a to-do list sometimes. Just a blank to-do list so I can stay a little more organized.
Right on the inside of your arm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
It'd
funny.
be real cool and get like a logbook or something.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
Your pre-flight checklist done on the back of your eye.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
That's it. I dig that. You know what? I might do that. Just pre-fight
leg, chest. Jeff Goin would be loving that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Dude, I'm all for it. All for it.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you got a couple of guys in the chat that said they'd buy a few shirts. Bob Porterfield said he's all in.
It's $8.99 right now.
He's talking about the app Fly Sky Highs, the $8.99.
Oh, okay. Sounded like a good price to me. Clark is he's slanging them right now.
You guys were talking.
That's a good idea. Paramotor Talk Coffee for 4-hour shows.
You guys were talking different filming stuff before. That was
yes
stuff. I like hearing about all that. I'm always trying to come up with some new camera angle or new way to hold the GoPro. So you got a stabilizer, and you got to post that link to somebody that does the trail cam with a stabilizer. That's got to be a lot of weight.
I'll pull it up right now. You got to see this.
So Mark, he was asking us, just if you want to chime in, just what do you have in the future? Like, what do you have in the roadmap for different kinds of video equipment? And that's what kind of led into that conversation.
Well, I have a little bit of everything. I mean, we do professional commercial videography, so I have everything from the handheld stabilized to, you know, just monopods. And then the tricky thing with it is if you're going to be taking it with you, I have, it's in my bag upstairs. Same thing. I got the DJI Osmo. So I want to take that along. But, you know, it's kind of one of those things where it's just like, how much weight and how much stuff do you want to carry with? Like, I haven't even taken a DSLR with to like take pictures yet. But I think the key is, you know, the helmet cam is good. The knee or the foot cam are nice. There's only so many places you can mount it. I did on the edge of my cage one time, which was a cool perspective. I have the wing cam, but that's, you know, that's not really that cool, I found. I think the biggest thing is like having somebody on the ground, just asking somebody to come along and film too. It gives a good look, but that doesn't work on cross countries. So the selfie stick is pretty sweet because it's versatile and you can stick it out there. So I have 2 GoPros. I always go with one on the helmet that's going to record my audio. And then my second one, I switch from the foot to the selfie stick to the wing to whatever. But yeah, I don't really know. The follow cam, I did the follow cam for a while. I think my main thing is going to be get a better looking follow cam view.
For sure.
So
you said this goes off on the side. That's a cool idea.
So here, this guy did it where he's doing cross country stuff. So he wired it. So the wire goes to a battery pack that's kind of dangling too. I'm doing no justice to what this guy created. Let me see if I'm trying to pull it up right now. I'm scared because it looks like it might have got deleted. Let me see here. Chase.
Oh, I've just got in the chat here. Clark Kent. Nice. I don't know if we got the chat before.
Here we go. I found it.
Oh, I'm just looking at the chat now. All right, good.
Yeah, Clark Kent's a champ. He's the one that made that shirt.
Clark, you're from Wisconsin?
Okay, pause. Boom. Yeah, Clark's from Wisconsin. That's what he was saying.
I think we chatted a little bit before. Look at the Osmo gimbal extension. Oh. Okay.
This is not like this was what I was gearing towards. So check this out.
This is key. Share this. You need to have somebody on the ground filming with the drone. That is, I filmed in one of my videos, my brother. So he was flying around, and I'm pretty good with like flying. But I have 2-3 buddies like in the drone group in the area, and I want to get them like get comfortable with them flying with me because, you know, I feel like I could fly and have like my lines go right between the drone too. So I think the main thing is going to be getting somebody on the ground that knows how to fly these, and dude, you could just pull off some crazy awesome footage. So that's kind of.
Heck yeah, man. Okay, here we go.
Yeah,
screen share.
Game changer.
Boom. Screen share. Here it is. So it's not going to, obviously, on the live stream, it's not going to be the best footage, but.
What?
You got the idea, right? Now.
Well, that's quite the apparatus.
So yeah, you see how he's got there's wires coming down. So he's got that thing flying behind it. But when you see the video, sorry, I'm texting too while I'm talking to you. Yeah, so it's probably super choppy on your end.
Gives you the good idea though.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, so watch what he's doing here.
Whoa.
I'm texting Gavin right now.
While you guys are, what'd you say, Demetri?
Looks like he's using a drag chute to keep it far back and stabilized.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So that's just a little piece of wood to bridge the or finish the circuit.
So my concern of I know that if mine crashed into the ground, there's a pretty good chance that the gimbal would not fare so well. So he must that GoPro one must be pretty sturdier than the Osmo, I guess. But I would guess it would work.
Doubt it.
One's good.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to biff that into the ground because mine feels pretty stout, but I just don't know how it would fare.
I took mine snowboarding and I didn't have many crashes, but I figured if one crash and it would be, oh, dude, that looks like a video game.
It realistically is out of control.
Last year at EAA, they had a video game, a paramotor virtual reality game that you sat in and you could fire guns and missiles. It was crazy. You sat in it, you wore the goggles, and on your toggle you had a gun, and nobody was there. So we were able to play it the whole time.
Nice.
And it was completely weight shift, everything. It was like they were going to buy one for EAA as the big aviation museum in Oshkosh. So they were going to purchase one and have it put there. And I thought, I mean, it wasn't realistic where you could do like wing overs and stuff, but it was realistic. Like it felt like you were pulling the toggles, and then you had missiles and you were shooting like trucks and helicopters. We came up with it, and it was just nuts. So everybody was.
That's pretty sweet.
I want to try.
Yeah, exactly.
So you figure they can put a 20 mic on a paramotor, maybe a fresh breeze or something like that. You can strap one too.
Backwards. Yeah, that's your propulsion.
I can pull it off. Yeah, right. Put a 50 cal on it or something. That'll get you good launch speed.
We will get him.
So, Robert, I got to step out, man. I got to do some work. So I will talk to you guys next week.
Yeah, I think we're going to call it a night. I just
later,
texted Gavin. He's home now. But Trey, thanks again, man. I really appreciate you, brother.
Yep, absolutely.
Later,
check out paraglidingtalk.com. Go there. Subscribe to the email. I'm working on some stuff with that. If I have your email address, I can shoot you some information. If you already gave me your email, just be patient. I'm working on concocting some stuff for us, and will benefit everyone. The ideas that I have, and maybe we'll talk about that a little bit on the show as we progress. Want to try to reach out to some of the gear suppliers, whether it be simple stuff like like we were talking about the balaclavas and the scarves or gloves or whatever we can get for the show. So the more emails that we have, the better chance we have of getting some stuff for discounted prices or even free. And we're also going to try to reach out to get some sponsors. We'll do some advertising on the show, and maybe that will get us some momentum. We're obviously very small, but there's great potential, I think, in our show and what we're doing. And I really just love it. Every Thursday, I get so excited. We're going to have a show. And even tonight, man, Paul didn't make it on the show, and big deal, man. We had a blast. That was cool. So it's paragliding talk. It's not paragliding interview famous people, although some famous people paragliding. Come on. Yeah. So we'll keep rolling with it. And so again, really appreciate everybody coming on and joining the show. Typically the show is on Thursday nights at 6 p.m. That's when we go live. And then the sky's the limit. If it's really good, we don't turn it off, and we just go and like we did with the 4-hour show with Woody.
That was crazy.
He made us do that, by the way. He said his viewers were saying that if we don't go 4 hours, they were going to riot, and I didn't want to start a riot.
His viewers were crazy.
And that's why I did 4 hours, because I believed them.
Oh man.
They still show up in the chat sometimes. They're probably there right now. You're going to see them, and they're going to say RSK.
I don't even understand all that. I just go along with it.
I don't know either, and it scares me, and so I just nod and smile. It's a nervous laugh every time.
Oh man.
But anyways,
YouTube's got a good filter.
Yeah, yeah. So I really appreciate you. We'll have a quick after show for you guys that are here. Leave a question in the comments even after the show, and I'll get those questions to whoever we had on the show. Special thanks to all the guys who do the moderation. And we've been promoting a few guys. You can see there's more and more of the tool symbol in the chat. That means you have a little more authority. That means you've been selected as exceptional. And so really appreciate you guys that are in there, and all the Patreon supporters and the supporters that support the show financially. We're up to $100 a month right now. And so I'm stoked about that. You can see who's donating also on paraglidingtalk.com under the support page. If you haven't seen that, go check out who's supporting the show and how much they're supporting the show. Yeah. So anyways, thanks guys. Appreciate you. And again, we'll, if you're still here, we'll have a quick after show, and have a good night.
See you later.
See you guys.